Hey guys, what's up? My name's Kayla from Planning with Kay, and welcome to another video. So we know that August is back to school month, which means it's time to get organized for the new semester and set yourself up for success in all of your classes. So today I'm going to be showing you 8 bullet journal spreads that will help you stay on top of things this school year. To go along with this journal, I'm also going to be giving away 2 of these beautiful gold detailed thought space journals. The black one that I'm using to set these back to school spreads up will go to a random person over on my Patreon. So you can join there if you want a chance to win that one. And the white one will be a part of a giveaway over on my Instagram. And I'll be announcing that giveaway in the next couple days. So follow me there on Instagram at Planning with Kay if you want to see when I post that back to school giveaway. So to help set these spreads up and make getting ready for school just a little bit easier for you, I designed a whole new collection of back to school stickers that you guys can use in your own bullet journals. Each sheet you see here is $3.50 in my shop, but to celebrate the start of the new school year, I'm offering a limited amount of discounted back to school bundles, where you get all of the sticker sheets you see here at a discounted price. There are only 40 of these bundles available, so hurry and grab one while you can. Otherwise, you can still purchase these individually. I will also be closing my shop in a couple days until the end of August, so now's your chance to order before that happens. Alright, so now that we have all of those announcements out of the way, it's time to jump in and set up all of our back to school bullet journal spreads. Now personally, I always like to start off with my class schedule. You may have your schedule online or on your phone, but I think there's a ton of value in actually copying that down into your journal. Your journal is where you're likely planning out your school-related tasks, figuring out what you need to study for when and what homework you need to get done, and it's really hard to figure all of that out without looking at your schedule to see what your day really looks like. Having to pull out your phone to look up your schedule while you're trying to focus on planning and studying can in itself be super distracting. So I always found it really helpful to have a full-size version of my schedule in my bullet journal. That way I can easily reference it at a moment's notice. If you're starting a new journal for the school year, I even recommend putting this right in the beginning of your journal so that you know where it is and you can flip to it without a problem. Another helpful hint: if you think your schedule may end up changing, like if you're thinking of switching times or dropping a course, you can use different color post-it notes to fill in your schedule at first instead of marker. That way you can easily just move around the post-it notes when your schedule changes, and you won't have to worry about having an outdated schedule permanently drawn into your journal. So to set the spread up, I use one of those back to school headers, and then I use the class information stickers on the left side to jot down the basic information for each class. I'm also color coding my classes here, which I highly recommend since it makes it a ton easier to read this schedule in a pinch. If you wanted, you could even keep this same color code consistent throughout your journal and highlight anything related to that class in that same color. The next spread that I think is absolutely crucial for any students, whether you're in high school, college, or whatever, is a semester at a glance. Depending on your school, this may make more sense as a quarter at a glance or maybe a year at a glance, but it's still the same concept no matter how many months it extends to. So I'm using my medium academic year calendars for this spread, along with some monthly headers to create a space for each month of the semester, in this case going from August to December. This is where I'm going to write down any bigger picture events throughout the semester. And what I mean by this are things like midterms, finals, holidays, large project deadlines, and any other sort of noteworthy breaks or events that are milestones throughout the semester. Don't bother putting smaller things like homework assignments, meetings, or weekly quizzes. Those will have their space. This spread is just supposed to be like your general academic calendar, where you can see all of the really big picture stuff. So you can see I also created a color-coded system here where I highlight events depending on if it's a holiday, final, midterm, project, or other, which again just makes it easier to see what's coming up in a quick glance without having to waste too much time. This next spread is another great reference that I think is really valuable for any students out there, and that's a class information spread. This is similar to the class schedule in that you may be thinking, hey, I can find all this information on my class's website or in the class syllabus, so what's the point of copying it all into my bullet journal? While you could definitely find all of this information elsewhere, I pretty much guarantee that it's all scattered around. Sometimes it's on a website, sometimes a syllabus, other times it's in random emails that you deleted or handouts that you misplaced. So it's really useful having all of that information consolidated in one place, eliminating all of that guesswork. I couldn't even tell you how many minutes I wasted during college searching for information like my professor's email address or office locations, having to figure out, was it on the website, was it on the syllabus, and just wasting time online trying to find information that I could have easily kept track of from day one. So this class information spread consolidates all that important information into one place so that you know exactly where to look for it. So here in this setup, I just created a column for each class and then a spot for professor information like their name, email, and office hour schedule. If you have a teacher's assistant or a secondary teacher of sorts that also has relevant information, you can create a section for that as well, like I did here. And then I also created spots for location, resources, and grading. Resources are things like the class website or key textbooks, and grading is just the given breakdown of the class's grading system. Make this as general or detailed as you personally need. Just anything you think you may look for eventually, write it down here and save yourself the time and the trouble. So if you're only going to use one of the spreads that I show you today, do yourself a favor and make it this one, which is the assignment tracker. Throughout my years at school, I learned that the hard part wasn't necessarily the subject matter itself. It's not about how hard the class is or what the subject is. The hardest part and the number one cause of failure or victory is being prepared. People, myself included, miss so many points just by not being aware of deadlines, turning assignments in late, not remembering something was due, so you kind of have to half-ass it the night before, forgetting about quizzes and tests that you could have easily studied for. Stuff like this is 100% avoidable as long as you're organized and diligent about writing everything down on your assignment tracker. Here's a spot to write down any and all assignments for all of your classes. Here, I'm just showing you how you would set this up for 1 month, and I recommend setting up a spread like this for every single month in your semester ahead of time before the semester starts. So if you have a 5-month-long semester, then you would just set up 5 of these spreads. This way you can write in all upcoming assignments for your entire semester, and you won't have to trust your memory with any of it. As soon as you know about something, you write it down here, otherwise I promise things will slip through the cracks. Again, I set up a color code here to differentiate between types of assignments. So we have readings, homework, test, quiz, midterm, and projects. But obviously choose whatever categories make most sense for your specific coursework. I have a column for each class and the days 1 through 31 written down the side, giving you a spot to write what's due for each class on any given day. And I also created a spot to check that assignment off once it's been completed. Ideally, you should be looking at this spread nearly every day so that it's impossible for a due date or a deadline to slip by unnoticed. And that way you aren't unnecessarily losing points that you could have easily gotten. Now, depending on what you're studying, you may have a ton of reading assignments to complete throughout the semester. If that's the case, you would probably benefit from a totally dedicated reading tracker, where you keep track of your progress with various textbooks and reading assignments without clogging up your other assignment trackers with tons of chapter and page numbers. Keeping up with your readings, no matter how tedious they may seem, is another no-brainer way to guarantee yourself higher grades. And if you don't keep up, you'll likely have to cram the entire 300-page book into your brain the night before the final anyways, in which case you'll wish that you had just kept up and read the 15 pages a night. So I'm using the reading header stickers here as a spot to write the title of each book that I need to read for my classes, and then a spot to write down the chapters, page numbers, and read by dates for all relevant reading assignments. And of course, I have a spot to check off once I've read those pages. Alright, so the next 3 pages I'm going to set up for you guys are just going to be really simple examples of a monthly log, a weekly log, and 2 daily logs that are tailored specifically for students. To start off with a monthly log example, I'm really keeping this super simple, focusing on functionality. The truth is that when you're busy in the middle of the semester, you don't always have the time to set up a super complicated monthly setup. And sometimes you just need something that's simple, fast, effective, and easy to set up. So here, I'm just making a full-size calendar, giving each day a box that's 6 spaces tall and 5 spaces wide. To the right of the calendar, I'm creating a spot to write down everything that's due each week. Again, one of the easiest way to get your grade lowered is to forget about due dates and assignments. So I urge you to make it so painfully clear what's due when, and write it down in as many places as possible so that you will have no excuse to miss anything. I'm using the new Due This Week header stickers to set this up, and I'm also using some of my checkbox stickers, which are the only ones that I'm using in this entire video that aren't included in that back to school bundle I mentioned. Okay, so next I'm going to show you what you can add to your weekly log once the semester starts to make sure you're keeping track of all your classes and assignments. On the right here, I'm just making a very simple weekly log in my normal sort of layout where I have a spot for each day of the week, split into personal tasks and events, and then school-related tasks and events. Now in the bottom left, I'm creating my weekly schedule using the weekly schedule timetable sticker sheet, which will be a full hour-by-hour breakdown of the school week, where I can show all of my classes, meetings, events, and any other obligations for the week. While in school, I really think that hour-by-hour scheduling can be so incredibly useful. Especially if you're in college, your schedule throughout the week is often very random and unaccommodating. It's not like high school where you have school every single day from 8 to 2. You may have classes scattered throughout the day with no more than a 1-hour break on some days. Some days you may have no free time, and others you may end class at 9 a.m. Whatever your schedule is, you need to be aware of it in order to work around it to get everything done that week. So creating a weekly timetable like this really gives you a chance to block out your week. So first, block out all of your classes and other mandatory obligations. Then, figure out around those when you're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and budget out some time to do that. Remember, another part of being a successful student is taking care of yourself and nourishing your brain, and it's really easy to forget about that when your schedule's crazy. So now you can see exactly what spare time you have during the week, and you can block that out between studying, hanging out with friends, club meetings, and whatever else you need to get done. Above that, I also created a spot to again just write what's due that week. I seriously meant it when I said write this as much as possible. The more you write down your due dates, the less likely you are to forget. It's that simple, and your weekly log will likely be where you're looking at for much of this week. Alright, so finally I'm going to show you 2 simple daily logs that are perfect for busy school days. Here I'm just creating 2 simple task lists for each day, one for school and one for personal. I highly recommend keeping your school-related task list separate from your other tasks and events as much as possible. You're far more likely to overlook an assignment if it's nestled and sort of jumbled around with other non-related, maybe less urgent tasks. I'm now going back to what I said about hour-by-hour scheduling, and I'm using the bottom half of the page for an hourly time breakdown, and I'm using this time ladder sticker to do that. I'm placing the time ladder in the middle of the page, so that way I can keep all school-related events on the left and personal events on the right, maintaining that separation. You can then use this to block out your day, and this will also help you decide when to complete your tasks for the day that you wrote above, since you'll be able to see right there when your free time is during the day to get that stuff done. On the right, I'm just showing another similar example, again with a task list at the top and a time ladder at the bottom. But I'm also creating a spot here for everything that's due that day, where you can write all of the assignments, readings, and other schoolwork that needs to be completed. And finally, those are all of the back to school spreads that I have for you guys today. Personally, I truly believe that your bullet journal can be your #1 most valuable tool when it comes to acing your classes and keeping up with schoolwork. I discovered bullet journaling my junior year of college, and it was a total game changer. The only thing that I wish is that I would have found it sooner. So I really hope that you give some of these spreads a try this semester. Again, here are all of the stickers that I used throughout this entire video, and these are all available in my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description below. Like I said earlier, I'm also offering 40 discounted back-to-school bundles, which come with all of the stickers that you see here, so be sure to check if those are still available, and if not, all of these are still available for sale individually. And remember, I will be closing my shop in a couple days, so get your orders in quickly or else you may have to wait until the end of the month to order. And finally, don't forget about the 2 giveaways that I mentioned, one on my Patreon and one on my Instagram. The links to those will be in the description below, and I'll be announcing the winners next Friday. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope it motivated you for the new semester, and if it did, don't forget to leave it a like, and let me know in the comments below what's one last thing you want to do before summer ends. Follow me on Instagram at planningwithk if you're not already, and don't forget to check the link to my shop, my Patreon, and all the stickers you saw here in the description below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.